welcome to Books of the Month. Excited that you could join us this month, and we have a very special guest, Mr. Gregory Oliver, and this exciting book that he's written, Walking Free from Bondage to Liberty. Mr. Oliver, welcome. How are you today, sir?
I'm very well, Dr. Combs, and I'm just pleased to be here with y'all today and to be able to share the book and everything.
Well, we're honored to have you. Introduce yourself to our audience, and then we're going to talk about this book.
My name is Gregory Oliver, and I'm born in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You talk about this book, powerful, fascinating book. Gregory sat in a small cell that he shared with another inmate and questioned, "Why am I here, Lord? What did I do wrong to cost me the rest of my life in prison with a walking death sentence?" Man, that is so powerful. Talk to us about that.
Well, you know, the thing of it is none of us ever feel that our life is going to take a journey that take us to a place that we don't find ourselves being in. And I'm being in a prison setting, and to think that I was going to be there for the rest of my life, a living death sentence.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, horrific to even think of that, you know, because I knew that I hadn't done anything to deserve such a sentence.
A living death sentence.
And the reason I say that, a life without running wild with another life. They was running in two different directions. You had a life that was going one way, and then you had to go the other way, and then you had to do a life without, which was never ever supposed to see probation or parole.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, I was to be there the rest of my life.
So here I am, sentenced. No chance of probation or parole.
No
now, I kind of know what you're talking about because I've done prison ministry for well over 30 years.
Yes, sir.
I've seen guys who were there when I first began, they're still there. So I see what you're talking about. Now, you say something here. Please let me know. You talk to God.
Right.
Please let me know. I am man enough to handle it, but I need to know where I went wrong. Then you say something that's so powerful. The answer came in 3 simple words. It was rigged. Man, talk to us about that.
It broke my heart when the Lord let me know, because I wasn't looking and saying, well, I need to find this out, you know, because I thought that I'd done something wrong. But I had to seek the Lord. I wasn't going to just take this on my own understanding.
Yeah.
So I sought the Lord to make sure that, hey, you give me an answer, Lord. I'm not going to rely on man's answer. You give me an answer. And he said, it was rigged.
Wait a minute now. When God let you know that this thing is rigged, what impact did that have on you?
Oh, it broke my heart. I knew then I had to fight. I got to fight this thing.
Wow.
I don't know how I'm going to fight it, but I got to fight it. I can't give up. And that's the attitude that I took. And I just knew I had to stay in the law library. I had to study. And God spoke to me, I want you to study every level of law that you can think of. Pick up the books and begin to read them. Go ahead, sir. I want to get in.
Now, man, you're talking about something.
Yes.
Now I'm going to flip this a bit.
Okay.
Had you not been in this situation, would you have been studying law that way?
No, I would not have been studying law that way. I had attended one time to go to law school for business. I come from a family of businessmen.
Yeah.
That was my intentions. Those are my intentions. I had built a business before they put me in prison. And it was a moving and hauling business. And they destroyed that. And so the thing of it was, the prosecutor had the audacity to tell the juries that, hey, this man ain't even got a truck. Well, I was ahead of time at that time. I was using what you call subcontractor.
Yeah.
Something that wasn't even known about in Missouri at the time. And I would subcontract. Yes, I would subcontract other people trucks to come in, and we could go and do the job. And they was excited because I was providing work for other people. Entrepreneur.
For yourself and others.
For myself and others.
Now, here's something that's the man. This is okay. So you're arrested for a murder and assault that your mentally ill brother committed.
Yes, sir.
You set out to prove just how a judicial system that you believed in could be so corrupt that they could coerce a story that would send an innocent man away for the rest of his life for something that your brother had died.
Yes, my mentally ill brother.
Talk to us about that.
And the sad thing of it is because he had a mental illness, and he was really not to even be held responsible for his acts according to law.
Yes.
And the thing of it was, they knew this. It's not like, oh, it's an accident.
Ah.
They knew this. And the fact that they joined us together, my brother, he was not even really what you call confident, because they had to have him doped up on a Libery drug,
Yes.
which is an antipsychotic drug to put him in a position where he was like a zombie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and the jurors, when they probably looked at him, they looked at me and said, well, hey, he looked capable. They bought this, boom, send him away. That's the way it goes. And this happens too often in our society.
Uh-huh.
And people walk by and don't think about it because they say, well, hey, I got my life to live. You know, they'll work
Wow.
that out. But yes, my brother had mental illness that came from, he had a brain tumor that was removed, and he was going to college to be an architect.
My.
And what really, you know, we'll have to get deeper in this story later down the road, but what really hit me was the fact that my wife, that's now my wife, she wasn't my wife when I met her,
Right.
she went to the same college that my brother did. And so God has a way in putting things together to be able to unravel things.
It is amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
So now you say, powerful statement. He could not fight it alone. So from the time he was locked up in St. Louis City Jail, he prayed that the Lord would send someone who would believe in his innocence to help him. Then you say this, little did he know his help was going to come from a Michigan white woman who fought alongside him until the governor commuted his sentence. Talk to us about that.
Oh my God. You know, God knows how to help you.
Man, I
we
feel
need
you.
to understand. And this woman didn't pass me by, didn't look at me and say, thank God that she didn't say, hey, no, that's just another black guy caught in the system.
Yeah.
You know, that could have been easily said, and she could have went on with her life. But just like the Good Samaritan, she reached out and done something. And it was awesome because this woman, she didn't know what to do. She didn't have the money, the wealth, the whereabouts to be able to go against a powerful system.
Not an influential person.
Yes, an influential person,
From a
somebody
monetary
important,
perspective.
which is a lot of times what most of the judges and the other people accept, and that's not real justice.
Yeah.
What's real justice is if you don't belong there, you shouldn't be there. And that's what she felt. And she felt that she had to do something, even if it was just give moral support.
So here we are. You're sitting in this situation. You're incarcerated.
Yes.
You're dealing with something that may give the appearance of being insurmountable.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a hope on the inside
Right.
that says, I cannot and will not sit here, accept this, and allow this thing to happen. Now you find out God's told you that it's rigged.
Yes.
Now you're into this thing. You begin to study law.
Yes.
So you're preparing yourself
Yes.
to help yourself. But it appears that there is no help. Now here comes this woman who you don't know, gets a hold of your story. We could say that you said Good Samaritan,
Yes.
but you know, the scripture tells us that we can entertain angels unawares.
Yes.
So now here your angel comes,
Yes.
who's going to assist you in navigating this journey.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what that did for you, because you're on the inside.
Oh God. It gave me a strength, I think like King David had, that the Goliath had to come down.
My.
And you can't give up. I coined the word, don't give up, get up. It's
You
just
need
like
to say
Jesus.
that again. Don't do what
give
now?
up, get up.
Come on.
Jesus didn't give up. He went to the cross for you and for I. He didn't give up, he got up. And we need to understand that that's what God was putting in my heart. I brought you assistance. I'm able to do this with many or with fruit. And he began to speak to me and encourage me. I'm gonna bring you out of this. And he started having people to pray for me, and people to pray for my wife. We weren't even married yet.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm speaking those things that be not as though they were.
Calling it.
You know, I gotta call it, but I thank God. And we have to understand in this society, that's what we're going and dealing with every day.
Yes.
People sometimes will walk by, just like the Levi walked by, and the priest walked by, but the Good Samaritan didn't. He stepped in and done something.
So you're saying those people whom you may have expected to get assistance from, to get some help from, they did not lend the assistance or the help that you needed.
No, they didn't.
But there was one.
There was one.
Who would be unexpected.
Who would be unexpected.
There was one, who would go out of their way,
yes,
to provide those things that you needed.
Yes, sir.
And help came.
And help came.
Now, you talked about you praying.
Yes.
You know, when you said that, it kind of took me back to the place where, you know, it talks about at midnight,
yes,
when it seems to be the darkest,
yes,
they prayed. Chains fell off, doors flew open.
Yes.
Talk to us about the feeling that you got, man, when you're getting close to this thing.
Well, you know, I mean, so much stuff it went through because the governor that was the governor of Missouri at the time was Governor Carnahan.
Yeah.
And the Lord had shown me in a vision. He ended up and had to, you know, he was running for Senate, and he was about to fully pardon me because he knew this. After getting the information that Bonnie had compiled and sent to their office, he was ready to pardon me. And
wow.
I think that the Lord showed me in his vision that he had to speak with his political advisor. He told the governor, you're gonna have to wait. I know you want to do this.
Now,
wait.
That's powerful. You know, we only got
60
seconds left. But I want you to do something for me because we want people to get the book.
Yes.
Share with our viewing audience if there's a website, if there's an email address. I see you have something here. 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Look right here and share with our audience how they can get in touch with you and any other information.
Yes. I think that this is a book that you don't want to let pass you by like the people pass me by. Sometimes we let things pass us by. And the thing of the website that you can get this particular book is Gregory Oliver, walkingfree.com. The other issues that you can get it from Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. It's available through various other stores, and I think even Walmart has it online now. So that was a shock and a mystery to me, and I was thankful to find out that they did.
That's so powerful. You know, that's a powerful story. I see you have some merchandise here, shirts with the picture of your book on it. Just show that to our audience.
I hope you can see this. This is a shirt that was done by a previous worker, but the book cover is on it.
Yeah.
And this previous worker is talented. My wife is powerfully talented.
That's great.
And then this one is my wife's cover, which is Faith Walk, which Dr. Coins will bring that out to y'all a little later on.
Powerful.
So,
you know,
just want to make that
we want to thank you for being here, for being our guest. Listen to, we don't want you to go anywhere. We're going to take a short break, then we're going to be right back with Bonnie Oliver, and she's going to be sharing with you exciting news about this powerful book that she has, A Walk from Darkness to Light. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
Call 877-482-0159. That's 877-482-0159. 877-482-0159.
Welcome to Books of the Month. We're so excited to have you with us, and we have a very special and exciting guest with us today. Miss Bonnie Oliver has a powerful book, Faith Walk, A Walk from Darkness to Light. Miss Oliver, how are you today?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you, sir.
It's such an honor and a pleasure to have you with us. Do this for me. Introduce yourself to our viewing audience.
Well, my name is Bonnie Oliver, and I wrote this book initially 20 years ago. And last year, I got a phone call from a publisher in New York, and they had found the book. They read it. They called me and they said, would you be willing to revise this book? Because this book is for today. And so that's exactly what happened. And it just so happened that my husband was writing his book, which is the sequel to mine. And I asked if we got it finished, if they would publish it too. And they said, yes, they would. So we have companion books, my book and my husband's book.
Yes, now that's really a blessing. Your husband's book, Walking Free from Bondage to Liberty, a fascinating, powerful book. And then your book, Faith Walk, A Walk from Darkness to Light. In your book, you say something. You say, when a new Christian cries out for God's perfect will and purpose to be fulfilled in their lives, one can expect literally all hell to break loose. That's powerful. I thought about that. Then you say, nothing else makes sense as the pure character building walk begins. Talk to us about that. What do you mean when you wrote that?
Well, I became a Christian, actually born again in September 26, 1986. By the following June, the Lord had managed to drive me out of my job. I had lost over $1,600 income a month. I had lost everything I had owned. And I found myself sitting in Wheaton College in the master's program with no Bible background at all, competing with preachers' kids and missionaries' kids for a master's degree in Bible and theology.
Okay.
So the challenges that I went through with losing everything, losing my job and everything else, it was literally hellacious.
Yeah. So the different things, the different seasons of your life where you lost all of your earthly and worldly possessions, you lost your job, you began to lose the things that you had accumulated. Yes, and that can be so very traumatic. Now, it says here, Bonnie had finally reached a comfort level in her life after many years of upheaval. That comfort level soon changes when she answered a TV advertisement she hoped would fill an emotional void in her life. Then it says the results of this change took her from literal darkness to the light, but not without going through several years of one fiery trial after another. That statement is so impactful. Unpack that for us and give us a little bit about that.
The void in my life was my youngest son was going off to college, and I was a single mother, didn't date, didn't anything. My mother had encouraged me to do volunteer work, and the only thing that even interested me was teaching math. And I saw an ad on television for Missouri Coalition for Literacy. Well, I was a very poor reader and writer at the time, but the ad was showing the person doing math, and I can teach math. That was my subject, math and science. So I called and told them I wanted to teach math, and when they found out I was not afraid of the inner city, being from Detroit, they had me come down. I went through the literacy training. I didn't have to go through math training. I already had that. And the only center that I had choice to work at that jumped out at me was City Jail in St. Louis. And I didn't want to go to City Jail. You know, I didn't want to be in that environment, you know, so to speak. But I'd go through the list and I keep going through the list, and I found myself being drawn to City Jail.
Wow.
So I asked if women teach at City Jail, and they said, yes, they had a woman volunteer there now. So I bit the bullet and I went down to City Jail to tutor the young men there. And most of the young men were my son's age, you know, which was difficult. I walked into City Jail. Now, this was an eye-opener and a shocker to me. I walked in there, and the first thing I passed was a holding cell. And in the holding cell was about 20 young men, half naked, drunk, you know, all sorts of conditions.
Yes.
And of course, they were yelling at me as I went by, naturally, to try and get my attention, because they thought I was a professional, you know, and they wanted some attention. And they kind of scared me. And every single one of them were Black. And I thought, what is this here? You know, why am I seeing this all Black men, you know, just in the holding cell? So I got to meet the supervisor, and we wound up going up to the actual classroom. And all the men that came up for the class, they were Black. And I soon found out that the population in the jail was about 95% Black male.
Yes.
And about 85% of the crimes were murder and or rape. So here I was, Miss Middle Class Suburbia, walking into a totally new environment. Now, at the time, I was not a Christian. Okay, all I knew was what you learned as a child, you know, going to Sunday school and that, but I was not a Christian. And there was one young man that I kept hearing and walking in on conversations about, who they said was innocent. And this young man, his name happened to be Gregory Oliver,
Okay.
who I eventually married. But they kept telling me he was innocent. And I said, well, if he's innocent, why is he in prison, or why is he in jail? And so they said, well, Bonnie, it happens all the time. And I said, well, it should never happen. Then when his conviction came down and he had a living death sentence, he was never going to see the light of day. And I said, this man is innocent and he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. I said, this can't be. Somebody's got to help him. And they said, oh, Bonnie, it happens every day. Don't worry about it. I mean, just let him filter through the system. And I said, well, how long does it take to filter through the system? And they said, about 12 years. And I said, so you're willing to sacrifice a man's life, 12 years of a man's life, just to filter through a system that did him wrong? And they were. And as it turns out, you know, after I picked up the gauntlet and I got a copy of his transcript and started studying his case, he would have never filtered through the system, never, because of what they did. Essentially, what we discovered in Gregory's case was they covered up the cover-up to cover up the initial concocted story.
Yes, I remember speaking to him about that. You know, that's amazing. So the system in and of itself was corrupt.
Exactly.
And they were doing things, of course, that were going to cover up what they'd done because they don't want to be exposed. Now,
right.
You talk about, it says, through those years of character building with the Lord, you raised yourself from the pits of depression, and you discovered your calling through all of that. Talk to us about that. That's powerful. I often tell people that even at our lowest point sometime, we will uncover and discover who we are, and out of our pain, we get passion for it, and then out of our passion, we find our purpose being birthed. Talk to us about how you discovered your purpose out of all this pain that you're going through.
Well, the pain, it was more depression and despair over the breakup of my marriage, and the fact that I was a single mother, and scraping by, you know, as single mothers often do. And one night, my ex-husband came and picked up the boys for a holiday ski weekend for Christmas. I couldn't buy my kids Christmas presents, so I went to bed that night wishing I couldn't wake up, but I was too afraid to commit suicide. So I was really at probably one of my lowest points. And as I was going off to sleep, I saw this vision of a kaleidoscope, and the kaleidoscope eventually turned in what I knew as Christ's face. And then he led me to a path in this vision, and I started running up the path, and I'm there in suspended animation, just stop. And I look up and I see my grandmother at the right hand of Jesus, and she holds her hand up to me, and she doesn't say anything, but there is a message that comes from her. And that message is, go back, child, your job is not done. But I said, Grandma, I want to come with you. I want to come with you. And she said, no, your job is not done. So it wasn't right away when I discovered what that job was, until I went into city jail and I discovered this case. And the Lord wanted me and called me to fight injustice in the state of Missouri.
Wow.
For an innocent man. And once I got my calling, then the despair, the depression. You know, when you follow the direction that God wants you to follow, he will eliminate things in your life, and he will open those doors to let you walk through with victory.
Now that's something that you're speaking about here, because, you know, this is, you know, we talk about mental health and we acknowledge mental health, and depression ties directly into that. But now you just said something that I tell people many times. There's a spirit of depression,
Yes.
oppression that will attach itself to you. And many times that happens because of situations and circumstances in our lives. So, but you said something that's so powerful. You were delivered out of that spirit of depression.
Yes.
Now, this is powerful. Now, see, you see how time flies when you really get involved. We have 2 minutes left. So I want you to take 60 seconds, tell people how they can contact you, if you have a website, email, and information like that. Please, 60 seconds.
Okay. Well, I do have a website, and it is www, all lowercase, BonnieOliverFaithWalk.com. And in the website, we have interviews, we have a prayer that I wrote that's in my book, and we have a book trailer, which gives you like a preview of coming attractions.
Okay.
That is very interesting. You can purchase the book through the website. You can purchase the book on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. And we just found out you can purchase it through Walmart online too, which is kind of nice. You know?
Excellent. Yes. Well, you know, it's it's powerful. It's enlightening. It also, you become so vulnerable in sharing the message, but it also gives great hope. The interesting thing is that you did not allow a system that was corrupt to continue to be oppressive to people and hold people captive who should not be held captive. And of course, you and your husband are living witnesses of the power of God and how God would intervene in what appears to be unfavorable situations. We want to thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing this valuable information. For those of you who are viewing, make sure that you go to the website, make sure you get this book. It will foster hope in you, and it will teach you to dream out loud, because you can make your dreams become your reality. I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. This is Books of the Month. We thank you so much for watching us, and we want to thank our very special guest, Miss Bonnie Oliver. And Bonnie, have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too, sir.